Welcome to the Wake Up to Your Life podcast. Today we're talking about the new rules of dating when you know who the hell you are. When you really have a good sense of yourself, who you are, what you care about, what your values are, what's important to you, you will make better choices when it comes to dating. I promise you this. You'll stop dating the wrong people. Oftentimes you hear single people say things like, I keep going out with the wrong person. I don't know why I do that. What's wrong with me? I can't choose well. I just pick the wrong people. You're picking the wrong people because you haven't done some of the work on yourself. I would suspect that you need to look inward and really know who you are. 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Colleen Odegaard. One day, I was an Emmy Award-winning television journalist, married to the love of my life, and had 2 beautiful children living under my roof. Then one day, I woke up to a life I didn't recognize. Divorced, in a career transition, with my 2 boys grown and out of the house. I had to get really comfortable being alone really fast, or I was gonna lose my shit. This podcast is about reinventing yourself in a new season of life, getting to know yourself again, and having more peace, more love, more levity. This is Wake Up to Your Life. I remember shortly after my ex-husband and I split, we were only separated. We were not divorced. And I tried to start dating pretty quickly. And people would say to me, slow down, get to know yourself, work on yourself. And I remember thinking, what the hell does that even mean? At that time, I didn't even know what that meant. And here I was coaching other people, women in particular, talking about, their goals and their dreams and how to make those things happen in their lives. But when people would say, do the work on yourself and get to know yourself, it seemed a far away out there thing. I thought, well, yeah, I know myself. What are you talking about? Now it makes sense to me. 2 years post-divorce, now I get what that means. So if you can take the time to really get to know yourself, you're going to start making better choices. So let me tell you a little story to set this up. It's a personal story. It does not paint me in the best light. It's embarrassing, but listener, I'm here for you. Man, I try to tell you like it is. I try to be as honest as I possibly can because it's something that I value. And maybe you'll see bits of yourself in my story. All right, the details might be different, but you can relate to perhaps the feeling. So I was recently dating a man, we're going to call him Cowboy because he wore cowboy boots. He's not a cowboy, but he wore cowboy boots and they were super hot. I thought they were so cool and sexy and he was cool and sexy. So he lives in my neighborhood. I'll leave it at that. That's how we met. So I did not meet him on a dating app. We met in real life, in the semi-wild, in the hood, if you will. And the first time he and I ever really had a long conversation, we were hitting it off and he was being very, very, very flirty with me. And then I find out he has a fiance. And I'm thinking, well, he's being awfully flirtatious for a man with a fiance. Red flag number 1, big fat old red flag waving in the air. So that was that. We just had a nice conversation. After that, when I'd see him, run into him, more talking and fun and a little bit of flirting. But again, it's not going anywhere because he's spoken for, and I'm not interested in that. So having been cheated on, I don't want to be the other woman in someone else's life. So I hear from him again because guess what? Engagement is called off. Oh, wow. Oh, so you're free to go out with me now. Now you're free to date me. Okay, let's go out. We start hanging out. We go out a few times, and these dates are magical. Now, I will tell you, he's a very handsome guy, and I'm a sucker for a good-looking man. Sadly, I wish I weren't made that way, but I was kind of intoxicated by how handsome I find him and how attractive he is to me. So, but we did have great dates. We'd laugh. We had good conversation. Everything was fabulous. We have fun. And so our last date's on a Sunday. He says so many schmoopy things. Love bombing, another red flag. When someone's love bombing you, they're over complimenting you. It's too much too soon. It's overdone. That is a sign of something is amiss. We don't like that. We don't like love bombing. But he's telling me that I'm a unicorn, and it's so distracting talking to me because I'm so beautiful, and he's just so drawn by me. My beauty is distracting to him. All this stuff, and just saying how I'm the whole package. I'm everything he's looking for. And then I don't hear from him for 4 days. Like, not a text, not a peep. And then he tells me he's moving to a different city when I do hear from him. So me thinks that perhaps all that love bombing had something to do with him wanting he wanted what he wanted out of me the time we were dating, but knew he was off to move. I tell you this story because I was able to call it out for what it is. We had a final conversation, and I asked him some questions. I said some things, just, hey, if one of your daughters told you that a man had treated her the way you've treated me over the course of the past few weeks, what would you say? And he said, well, I'd tell her to ask questions. I said, bullshit, cowboy. You would not do that. You would not say that. There would be some concerns that you would have. Otherwise, you're a real shitty dad, because that's terrible advice to a man who's treated a woman that way. So my point in telling you this is that I called it quickly. I thought, okay, whatever. I didn't shed a tear. I didn't care. Easy come, easy go. I was completely fine. In fact, I was laughing as he's trying to explain why he hasn't reached out. I said, I'm not a dummy. I know what this is about. We call people, we text people, we reach out to people who we want to see, who we care about, who we want to spend time with. If someone's not doing that, they're not into you. Women, do you hear what I'm saying? If he's not calling you, if you're reaching out every time, you're initiating, he's not into you. Drop him, move on. I know you don't like hearing that because you think, well, he said all these nice things. I know he did. He said that to get in your pants. That's why he said that to you. Not saying there wasn't some shred of authenticity there in the moment. There could have been. But the point is, if you're looking for a long-term successful relationship, you're not going to find it with a person who isn't consistent with his behavior. Says one thing, acts a different way. The two don't jive, and it wreaks havoc on your nervous system. So I was able to let it go, and I was like, peace out, man. Good luck with your move. Good luck to you. And that was it. If this had happened maybe a year and a half ago, I think I would have been scrutinizing the situation a little more. I think I would have said to my friends, but he said that he really likes me, and he said that he wants me to come visit him when he moves, and he's going to come back and visit me, and he said that this and that I'm the perfect woman for him, and I'm the whole package. Look at the last text he sent me. I would have done all that, I call it girly stuff that we can do, and I don't mean any disrespect to anyone out there. I think you get what I mean by that, but where we scrutinize every emoji, every word, every text, that is so boring and tedious. Don't do that. It's boring. I would have gone to every single one of my girlfriends and say, what do you think? What do you think I should do? Should I call him? Should I give him the benefit of the doubt? I didn't do any of those things. And there is a version of me who would have done that. There was another guy I dated. We'll call him Escobar. Escobar. Everyone has a nickname. Everyone I've ever gone out with has a nickname. No real names will be used here. Escobar. He was super hot. I was attracted to him, and he flat out said to me, I don't want a relationship. And I said, well, I don't either, because I'm not even divorced yet. I'm still just separated. I don't either. I'm fine with this. But we'd have these great conversations. We'd go out on dates and laugh and have so much fun. And then poof, he'd disappear again until he needed me because he was having a problem. And he liked coming to talk to me, using me as his therapist. And I'd sign up for it. And when he was showing me who he was, but I wasn't allowing myself to see it because I was seduced by, again, another handsome, good-looking, sexy guy. I was seduced by that again. So I'm proud of my growth. Like with Escobar, I kept trying, kept going in, kept like, oh, we can do this again. I'd call him if I hadn't heard from him for a few days. No, don't do that. With Cowboy, I called it, and that was good for me, and I make space for the right person. So I tell you that story about now versus then and my growth. How did I get here? How did I get to this point? If you find yourself spinning out, obsessing over a man, if you're obsessing over somebody, you're reading into every text, like I said, you're wondering why he ghosted you, you're taking a poll, you're asking everybody in your life, why did this happen? Why do you think this happened? Well, what do you think he meant when he said, I want you to stop because all of that is crazy making. It's crazy making. You're not going to get anywhere with that. Instead, I want you to do a couple of things, 3 things. We're going to chunk this down into 3 buckets of what you're going to do. The first one is an identity check-in. What I mean by an identity check-in is you are going to look at, what are my needs? What are my values? Have they changed? What are the things I'm looking for in a relationship? And then write them down. I know writing things down feels like a big pain in the ass, but do this so that you have your list, because when handsome ass cowboy walks into your life, you can refer to the list. When you are like head in the sky because you're like, he's so hot, look at your list. Remember what you wrote down. What are your needs in a relationship? What are your values? Have they changed? Okay, really get clear about that. And then let go of that being chosen energy. It reeks of desperation. I told you the Escobar story, man from the past. I try to act like I was so cool, right? We hadn't talked in a while. I just be like, hey, what are you up to? What are you doing? Like, I had no game. I was not cool. It was probably pretty obvious. It's embarrassing to tell you that because it feels it's embarrassing. Doesn't paint me in the best light. But I share that with you because I think perhaps you've been there at some situation where you maybe weren't like full on stage 5 clinger, but you were coming back in for a thing that wasn't right for you after he'd already shown you who he is. But you're hanging on to that really sweet thing that he did. He gave me flowers. He remembered my mom's birthday. Oh, he called me when he knew I had that hard presentation at work, and you're hanging on to those things instead of looking at the big picture. Sure, those are nice things, but it doesn't make up for all the shit things that are happening or the things that are not happening, the things that you're not receiving. So checking in with yourself, your identity check-in, your needs and values, take a look at what they are, have they changed, write them down, and letting go of that being chosen energy, like, oh, pick me, pick me. The way you let go of that, I want you when you get back from a date, instead of telling your friends and saying, I think we had a good time. I had a good time. I don't know. I can't tell if he likes me. I have heard women say that, single women say that so many times. This was when I had my coaching practice. I hear it amongst my single friends. I can't tell if he likes me. And I would always say, well, who cares? Did you like him? That's how you get rid of that desperate, like being chosen, pick me energy. You get into your body, you know your needs, you know your values, and you think, how did I feel on that date? Did I like him? And it's easy to get this confused sometimes because, for example, I'm a very good conversationalist. I am not shy about saying that. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm not that good at it. I'm really good at it. People usually feel comfortable talking to me, and I can usually handle an awkward silence skillfully, and I make conversation with all kinds of people go pretty well. So, I'll go on these dates and guys will say, God, I just was so comfortable with you. We had such a great time. It was so great. Conversation was great. And then I'd start to think, yeah, gosh, it really was great. It really was great. Until I realized it was great because of me. It was great because of me. I was projecting that onto these men. So I had to force myself when I go out, still now, if I go out on a date, not to change who I am, to still ask all the questions and bring up topics and be a good conversationalist, but to pay attention if it's being reciprocated. Is he coming up with questions or is he just lobbing out ones that I asked him? What is that like? What is that like? So that was something that was big for me because I thought every date I was going on was so great. Like, these are the guys who like me, who I didn't like back. And I was like, yeah, well, maybe we did have a good time, which then led me to go out with people who I wasn't really into because I thought maybe they are good for me and maybe I'm not making the right choices. So that's why you need clarity on who you are, your values, your wants, your needs, the things that you really want out of relationship. Hope that makes sense. So to get out of that being chosen energy, that desperate energy, does he like me? Oh my God, I said this, was that wrong? Think about you and whether you had a good time on the date and how you felt. The next thing you're going to do, if you want to stop choosing the wrong people, okay, the first thing was check in with yourself, identity self-check-in. Next thing is you're going to come up with a new dating rule book. Here are my suggestions for your new dating rule book. You don't have to take these. These are my suggestions. These are ones that I'm using now. And yes, I'm still single, but I'm using them now. And I think this gets me closer to finding a person, should I decide to put my energy into that place. Look at your non-negotiables versus your preferences. I would like you to, again, write down that list of non-negotiables. I can't be with a smoker. If he smokes, can't do it. I love to run 5Ks. I love getting up early on a Saturday morning and running. I need someone else who also has a healthy lifestyle and prioritizes fitness. If you go to church, and you think, well, faith is very important to me. Okay, then that can be a non-negotiable for you. You want somebody else who's strong in faith and believes as you do. You get to pick what those are. Recognize what are the non-negotiables versus the preferences. Non-negotiables do not look like must be 6'2" and drive a truck and make $400,000 a year. I don't think that's a non-negotiable. You might think it is. I'm telling you it's not. And you're going to have a lonely, lonely life if you make your preferences your non-negotiables. Make sense? I'm not saying you can't like those things and prefer those things, but don't make that a deal breaker. You're bypassing lots of wonderful potential partners based on weird preferences. Okay, we all have them. I have them too. I told you I like a pretty man. I like a pretty man. It's my preference, but I'm trying to be open-minded. So non-negotiables versus preferences. The next rule in your new dating rule book are green flags. You're going to look for green flags. You know the red flags at this point. You know what those are. You can feel them in your body. Looking for green flags. What are they? It's open communication. They listen to you even when it's hard for them to do so. Even if you're having a difficult conversation, there's some conflict, but he's really listening to you. He asks follow-up questions. He remembers things you said from a date 3 weeks ago and brings that up and follows up again. That's a good sign. That's a green flag. He's someone who's paying attention to you. Someone who acts like they want to spend time with you and then follows up and initiates dates, initiates get-togethers, initiates the hangout. That's a green flag. Someone who is emotionally intelligent. You can usually pick this up after a couple dates. Might not know right away, but he's got emotional availability. You have some shared interests, shared values. He respects your boundaries, and you have to do this for him too, sister. You've got to respect his boundaries. You have to be these things too for your partner. He takes accountability for his mistakes. He learns from them, tries not to do them again. Consistent in his behavior. He's someone you can depend on. You know he's someone who shows up. He makes the effort. He encourages your relationships with your friends or your family or your coworkers. He's not threatened by them. He likes that you have them. He encourages them. These are green flags. These are more important than him being 6'2" and driving a hot-ass truck. These are way more important. These are better signs for a potentially long-term successful relationship. So those are the things I want you to think about. And then remember this. This is your third new rule in your dating rule book. Chemistry isn't everything, she says, and heavy sighs. Because I like that feeling, right? We all like it. It's intoxicating. It's why I went out with Cowboy, even though I knew he was a douchebag. I knew it from day one when he had the fiance and was inappropriately flirting with me. I knew he was a douchebag. He would not be the kind of man who could settle my nervous system. He would make me feel unsure of myself. I knew it from day one. And then when he would flirt with me subsequently and he would say things that seemed so rehearsed, they didn't seem real, just a little too smooth. You know what I mean? It was too smooth. I knew he was douchey and I ignored it because I thought it was hot. Because he is hot. Chemistry isn't everything. Now, I get it. As I said, I think you want a little something. I get it. You hear it referred to as the spark. You want to feel some kind of attraction, the spark. Yes, I prefer that too. But don't make it the biggest thing. And open your mind enough and your heart enough to recognize that chemistry can grow, attraction can grow. This person may not come in the body you thought they would, may not look the way you thought he would, but he could be fabulous. And the more time you spend with him and you see how funny he is and how kind he is and how attentive he is, how amazing he is, that can make him a lot hotter to you. So I'm working through this one too. This is a hard one for me as well, but it really isn't everything. So again, your new dating rule book, write down your non-negotiables, recognize what those are, and recognize what are just preferences. Don't make those deal breakers. Look for the green flags. We're so trained to look for the red flags, but look for the green flags too. And remember that chemistry isn't everything. It's something, but don't base just on a person's hotness. It's not going to work out for you. All right. The last thing, the last bucket, if you will, when it comes to helping you choose the right person is the self-talk shift. You need to speak to yourself in a kinder voice, a more compassionate voice. We need to let go of self-doubt and scarcity. If you're a single person who is saying out loud and believes things like, there are no good available men in my city. There's no good ones. And the ones who are good, they're all married. Words like all and everybody are very definitive, and that's a lot. Okay, you live in a big old city, unless you're listening to me from a small town, but you still have options. You still have options. This is true. Don't say things like that. It's limiting. It's that scarcity mindset. And that's when you make mistakes in your dating and you think, well, I guess I'll go out with this guy because he's asking, even though, he's still going through his divorce. He's not really through it yet, which is a red flag. He's saying he's not really sure what he's looking for, but I guess I'll go out with him. That's when you make those mistakes because you're thinking there's no one out there. You have to hang on to the belief that people are there. Now, I don't believe in manifestation per se. I get a lot of bullshit back on this. People get mad at me for saying that. I don't believe in manifestation the way it's taught. Like, remember that book, The Secret, from forever ago when Oprah had that on her show? It was like, just speak it and it'll happen. I don't believe it like that. But I do know that your mind has power and your thoughts and your words have power. So if you're constantly saying no one is out there, there's no good people, you won't find anybody. You know why? Because you won't be looking. You won't be looking because you'll think, well, what's the point? No one's out there anyway. You won't even look. So we need to change that self-talk and the self-doubt of, I need to lose 20 more pounds. No one's going to want me at my age. That's a belief I have a lot. I'm almost 55 years old. I'm recording this in July of 2025. My birthday is in August of 2025. I will be 55 years old. I have this belief that men my age don't want me. They want someone 35. If I walk around with that belief, I'm not really putting out the right vibes, am I? If I think I can only date men who are 75 because those are the only ones who want me, and that's not what I want. I'm not attracted to that. I'm not attracted to a 75-year-old man in general. Kevin Costner, what is he, like 71? I'm attracted to him. But they're not Kevin Costner. That's not who's calling me. That's not who's asking me out. So changing that stuff, you have to catch it, be aware of it, and change the thought. Just even question it, like, could I be wrong about this? Could I really know that every single person out there who's worth dating is married? No, you can't be sure of that. And replacing the what's wrong with me, like, what's wrong with me? Why do I keep screwing this up? Going back to what do I need? What do I need? What am I looking for? What do I need? Not what's wrong with me. Changing these things, doing this will help you to pick the right person. It will increase your chances of finding the right person. Remember this. Remember this. If you've lost me, come back for this part right here. You are so precious. You're so awesome. Like, you're the prize. Don't let just any old guy into your life because he's asking and says a few nice things and maybe took you to a fancy dinner or took you to his mountain house. Don't fall for it so quickly. You are special. I don't care if you've been single for 10 years and you're thinking, things are looking pretty grim around here. No, you have to remember that stuff about you, the things that are special that make you uniquely who you are. And remember all the good things you have to offer. When I remember that I'm great, that I enjoy my own company, it was easy to be like, cowboy, forget him, and like not think about him again. It really was. It was so easy to do that because I know I'm a good time. I know I have a lot to offer somebody. I know that. I don't question that. And him not even calling me for 4 days did not make me question it. I already know that about myself. I don't need the validation from him. I used to put my validation out on everyone else. How are the ratings for the TV show? How, am I getting good enough jobs? Am I getting, do enough men like me? Was I friends with the popular kids at school? All of that was being put outside of myself when all along I've totally been just fine as I am. And that's the truth about you too. I know how hard it can feel, but remember that you are the prize. You can do this. So do you want me to recap again? Remember, if you want to stop feeling so obsessive and crazy about the same guy and checking your phone. Every time you hear it beep, you're like, is it him? And it's not him. And then you're disappointed and you check again. Oh God, it's been 2 days. Oh, it's been 3 days. Oh my God, what's happening? Stop that crazy making spiral, because your man's not going to make you feel like that, because he's going to be consistent and show up for you. So how do we increase our chances of finding the better person, the right person? Step one, we do the identity check-in. Check in with yourself. What are your wants? What do you need? What are your values? And let go of that energy, that desperate energy of choose me, choose me, choose me. No, you're freaking awesome. You're the prize, remember? The second thing, you get out your new dating rule book. Remember what's in the dating rule book? We make a list of our non-negotiables. We look for green flags. And yeah, we want some chemistry. But if you're not like seeing fireworks and you're not having that, like he brushes up against you and your whole body shivers, if that's not happening, it's okay. It's okay. But be open to the fact that that could grow. The third thing, the self-talk shift. Talk to yourself more kindly. Be more open-minded, let go of self-doubt, or just when you have it, notice it and offer yourself something else to think, right? When you're in scarcity mindset, oh, that's just scarcity mindset. No, not everybody who's great is taken. There are good single human beings roaming the planet. I mean, I figure there's enough of us who talk about this stuff, right? And we're like, well, we're normal and we're nice and we're cute and we're like, there got to be other ones like us out there too. And I believe that. I do believe it. So do these things. Let me know how this works for you. And do me a favor. If you have a single friend who needs to hear this, please share this episode with her. Take a screen grab. You can put it on Instagram. Also, I want to hear about your wins and your cringes. Send me a DM on Instagram with your dating wins or cringes. Or if any of this resonated with you, please send that to me. Let me know what's working, what is not. I promise you, love is on the way. I know it. I believe it. I believe it. We just got to be patient and do the work on ourselves. Thank you so much for listening. I'm so grateful to you. Otherwise, I'd be sitting here talking to myself. Just know that I am rooting for you. Until next time, take care. Thank you so much for listening to the Wake Up to Your Life podcast. I love connecting with you, so reach out to me on Instagram at Colleen_Odegaard. My podcast is also on YouTube now, so you can leave a comment on the podcast episode and tell me what resonated with you. You can subscribe to my channel at the link in our show notes. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next episode.